Today, I really wanted to talk about not letting your future self down and taking care of your future self. We don't often think about that, and we don't often think about how we might feel one day. You feel a certain way now, but do you ever think about how your future self might feel? Take care of him or her. Take care of that person. One day you're going to wake up and your life will be the result of everything you do now. Every single step you take on this journey right now will form your future self, and you have to ask yourself who that future self is. And that's not easy to do. That's what sacrifice is. So you're sacrificing the current moment for a better future. I'm guessing you've clicked on this video because you want the future to be better. You want things in the future which are better than right now, and I know you're in pain. I know you're in pain. If you've clicked on this video, I know you're struggling right now. And the future feels so uncertain, you know? There is so much uncertainty in terms of the future. You might even have some sort of idea in your mind of what it could look like, but the person you are now and the person you might even envision in the future, you realize how much is between those two people, how much pain and suffering are between who you are now and who you want to be. You know that it's not going to be easy. You've probably realized that by now. You've probably realized that there isn't an easy fix to all of the things that you're doing, and you've probably realized that at some stage you realize that maybe you're not special. When you were younger, maybe you thought to yourself that life was going to be a certain way, and you probably thought to yourself that it was going to be a lot easier than it is. And now you're looking at your life and you're looking at everything around you. You're looking at yourself and you realize how much work you have to put in. You realize how much time everything takes. And you're in this place, you're in this stage of almost being in between lives, two different lives, the person you are now and the person you want to become. And it can feel lonely. It can feel extremely lonely, and it can feel like complete uncertainty as to what will one day happen. I know how that feels. You might even be addicted to some things. You might even have some bad habits that you've developed from the pain, from the struggle, from the difficulty of being in this situation. Maybe you're betraying yourself. Maybe you're starting to lose sight of yourself. You're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, and I don't know what to do. I can't do this. I've tried so many times and I keep falling. I keep failing. I keep letting myself down. I take some steps forward and then I fall right back into the person I was. And it can be a cycle that just repeats itself over and over and over again. And no matter how many times you take some steps forward, you always fall back into old patterns. back into your old beliefs. And that can be extremely difficult, especially the more you try, the more you go for it, and the more times you fall. You feel like it's inevitable. You feel like every time you're going to try, you're going to fall. And the only thing I can tell you here is that it's true. If you're trying to build yourself, you will fall so many times. And it's not about how many times you fall. And I know you've heard this before and you're probably tired of hearing it, but it's about how many times you pick yourself back up. And not only that, how much time it takes you to pick yourself back up. You've failed. How much time do you spend in that failure? I suppose what you might be doing is every time you fail, you fall back into old habits, old routines, old beliefs. You might start to doubt yourself. You might start to think that you're not capable until some time passes and you think to yourself, I'm going to give it another shot. I'm going to try again. I'm going to go for that thing again. I think I'm ready this time. This time it'll be different. You go for it. You might even get a few days behind you, a few weeks behind you, and you're hit with another failure. Maybe it was your fault. Maybe it wasn't. But the point is that you let it take you off track again, off the path. And I think what I've learned from my life, from my experiences, from everything I've been through, is that failure is inevitable. And if you're really trying, you will fail and you will fall so many times. And it's not so much about failing. That doesn't make you any less of a person than you might think it does. I think the biggest thing is how long you sit in that failure. How long you let it take you over. How much is this failure taken over you? And how many times are you allowing it to sink you? You need to realize that, and I had to realize, it took me a long, long time, to realize that whenever you fail, it's only about how long you stay there. Don't stay there. Don't stay there longer than you have to. It's not easy, and it can be extremely challenging to pick yourself right back up, but I think it's important. I think it's important. Don't fall back into old habits, into old beliefs. It's not easy, but it's simple. Change your belief, right? When you fail, don't allow your mind to bring you back down. Don't let that failure define you. Ask yourself, why did I fail? Do I have to make this a bigger deal than it is? Do I have to make this something bigger than it is? Or could I wake up tomorrow and pick myself back up and start again? Do I really have to fall back into old habits, old routines, old belief systems? Or could I start again tomorrow? Maybe today is too much. Maybe you need some time to brush yourself off and take some time. And maybe even tomorrow is too soon. It depends on what you're going through, I suppose, and the scale of the failure, but what if you could minimize the amount of time it takes you to pick yourself back up? Ask yourself that. I was asking myself that today, and I've realized that so many times I let failure consume me to the point where I would allow myself to be in a state of mind that didn't serve me for longer than I should have. And not even so much that I was in that state of mind, but I let that state of mind control my actions. I thought to myself, well, I can't do certain things anymore. I don't feel great right now, and I feel like maybe this isn't for me. But then I realized that as time went on, as time passed, I returned to the thing that I was originally trying to do. My actions came back to what they originally were. So what was happening there was I was letting my mind control my actions, which is the worst thing that you can do. As when you allow your mind to control your actions, you'll realize that your actions will then create this almost new mind. These bad habits that you're getting yourself back into, they will sink you, and you'll go lower and lower, and it's harder and harder to pick yourself back up the more you fall back into old routines. I'm telling you from experience, don't let it happen. Don't let it happen. I was finishing up the gym, and I was just thinking about that. I was just reflecting on how many times I failed and how many times I let it consume me for so much longer than I had to. I've gotten better, but you know what I'm talking about. If you're watching this video, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know exactly how it feels. So hopefully you got something out of this video, and I think that's enough for today. I think that's the main message I wanted to get across in today's video. So peace.